Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we are here today to discuss Berserk Volume 19, the one that happens after 18 and before 20. And Joe's holding up his
sure?
OG. I think it's, I think so. I wonder these days sometimes. But so, Joe, you start us off with introductions.
I'm Joe. I write as JCM Byrne. You can see my website, jcmburn.com. I've got a new book coming out in like 16 days.
Nice.
Ooh.
So reviews are starting to pop up on Goodreads. And
Nice.
but they all say the same thing. They all say RTC, which is really truly cool, I think. But it seems like too short of a review. But I'm like, okay, really truly cool. I'll take it. 5 stars. RTC. All right.
Hey,
So it's a good beginning. It's going
Not
to
bad.
keep that moving along.
Keep the momentum going.
Yes.
And Dan.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan. I read books and comics sometimes. I'm gonna give my opinion. Sometimes. Often.
Sometimes. And Varsha.
Hi, my name is Varsha. I run a YouTube channel called Reading by the Rainy Mountain, and I read books and manga and sometimes comics. And talk about them
Nice.
on my channel, I suppose.
So number 19, it's kind of, I think we had a lot, it seemed like we had a lot of information in 18, and then in 19 we didn't have as much. It seems like, I don't know if I'd say action heavy, but it seemed like it was a little frustrating for me, but I'm sure we'll get into that. What did everyone else think?
It's a middle. Right? It's very much a middle. Like a lot of stuff happened. Like a lot of these things that were introduced are all converging.
Yep.
But they were introduced before, so that was kind of neat. You're like getting a bunch of new stuff. Now they're all converging, but it hasn't come to a head yet. So nothing's really like concluded. Nothing's wrapped up. It's a middle. And it's fine, but it's also just like you're not really getting the density of introductions or nothing's it's not lots happened, but again it was all just the movement, the journey, not the destination or the beginning, and like it's a middle.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yep.
That's a good summary. I didn't like the chasing Casca from one place to another aspect of it, but other than that, I like the build-up of mystery. Like some of the mysteries that we were introduced to, I think that built up a bit more. The eyes that we talked about last time, I think we have a little more information about that this time. I'm sure we'll talk about it. And yeah, I thought the art looked very busy, not in a bad way, but like very busy in this volume. I think because there were a lot of people in each panel, that was interesting. It looked different from the other volumes, I thought. Or it had more pages of that kind of busy art in this than it usually does, it seemed to me. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, we are getting into the, I don't know what you would define, the final Berserk art sort of cycle, I guess. Right? Because it's going to get to some point and then it's pretty much, like this consistent. Let's say consistent from that point onwards, I think.
Yeah.
But I think this is still, we're not there yet, I think. Can be there in maybe 4 or 5 volumes, maybe? I don't remember exactly. Something like that.
Stuff like this.
Yeah.
Very,
Using a
very
sword
busy.
for bookmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one, and then the pages with all the people gathered together. I think each person is drawn individually, or at least those in the forefront are drawn individually. Yes, it's just a lot of detail. Like this one, it's
Like the
page
battles,
15,
right?
Yeah. Page 15, for instance, and everything before and after that.
Except for that
Yeah.
beautiful
Oh, I like that.
exception. Right?
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Just jumping out in the middle of all the busy, and then punctuated, which I really loved. But in general, Every other page was like, just crowds of people just doing crowds of things. Crowds of people just being tortured in the background. At one point, I'm like looking at, and I'm like trying to figure out like what's happening to this person. I'm like, I don't want to know. I'm gonna stop looking. I'm just gonna move on to the next panel.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just gross.
Page through quickly.
Yeah.
I think that panel is like one of the ones that people post a lot of, repost a lot online. It's like, it's one of the best ones.
And that is the one on Gut swinging his sword after he's killing crowds of people with his giant sword and cutting horses in half towards the beginning of the volume, I think. But yeah, it almost had like it did have like a middle feeling to it, like we're building again to something, and we're I just don't like Isidro, or is it his name? I don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Who? Oh.
Isidro, yeah, or Monkey, I guess they call him that.
A bit obnoxious.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it seems like he's there just to move things around. I'm sorry, Varsha, go ahead.
Oh no, I was. What was I saying? Yeah, I think he seems to be becoming more important in this volume. He'll probably be around for a while.
Their D&D group.
Yeah.
Right? They need the thief. They're gonna have to pick up a wizard sooner or later. They have a cleric because that's what Puck is. So we need a thief. So Isidro.
Yes. I don't know, but it doesn't fulfill anything narrative-wise. It's like it doesn't, like we don't need him really. We could have had this whole part without him, and it would have worked just the same, I think.
I mean,
because Puck could have followed them when they took Casca out of the. Puck could have followed the group when the cult when they took Casca, when they could have been Puck following. So. What is other than what I'm confused about is Guts is constantly telling, especially kids, to like stay away from me. You're, and now he's like, okay, well, you're not going away, so I guess you can stay. It just seems a little weird. Well, I guess that's a way for us to. He doesn't seem like a cold-hearted killer. I don't know.
But I think the other kids and people he encountered were usually helpless and looking to him for protection. This guy seems to be able to hold his own, or seems to want to do that. Maybe that's why. I mean, it was okay for the character to treat this kid differently, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
But from a narrative point of view, like you said, I'm trying to figure out what role he's fulfilling or what void he's trying to fill. It's a little late to introduce a sort of comic relief character, right? Like whoever's reading it this far in is okay with the darkness and the lack of humor and whatnot. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what his purpose is in the story.
I feel like he's there to show that Guts, now he's going to get more companions or something like that. Like he's not as averse as before to just having someone with him, and probably to show the growth of someone, like, because I assume he's going to try and become like Guts, because that's what he says he wants. So, it's a fair assumption that there might be some, training and mentorship stuff maybe. So that could be the role he's there for. Again, I don't know if it's really necessary for it to exist, but
it's going to be a big brother to One Eye Baby.
Yeah.
You get to pick on him at the park. His girl can come and throw rocks at them. Leave them alone.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of wondered while I was reading it I guess you kind of have, and I might be wrong here, but if you're planning a long-term story, I guess he kind of needs a group or companions, because if it's just him all the time, then I guess it can become stale, and you can also set these characters up for death later, so you can turn that into something else. And of course, I go to the dark stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I just think you need other characters. Otherwise, it's probably hard to continue a long, drawn out story with just him.
I mean, if it was Guts and Puck going after apostles, right? We've seen that. We've seen the conversations they have. We've kind of explored that. There's not that much more you can milk out of what those conversations would sound like, what those interactions would look like. It would be very repetitive. But now you throw in, Isidro. You throw in, the local whatever girl is in with a heart of gold is in trouble in the current setting, and you throw in Casca and whoever's taking care of Casca, and then maybe Farnese will tag along, or she'll get kidnapped and have to tag along, and all of a sudden you've got all these different conversations you can put on the page. Like as a writer, like you need that. You need like, oh, now I can have these two talking, and this is a different conversation that you haven't seen before, so I can fill 2 chapters with that.
Yeah,
whatever.
But is the conversation going to be interesting? That's the thing. Like, where we're going.
Sometimes you throw these characters in and they're not great, and then they have conversations and they're like, I don't know. I guess no one likes Isidro. I don't know that I like him, but thematically he doesn't seem to serve a purpose. Like, it just feels like it feels like if Guts ends up being like his mentor or something, it just feels like something we've seen before too many times. Especially if you've read Vagabond, it's like the plucky kid who wants to be the sidekick, and it's like it's the whole Musashi story. And
it's a very classic story.
It's a very but it's been done. Is Isidro going to be different than those other plucky kids who like from the street and they tag along with the strongest swordsman they can find and they get embroiled in problems like?
Don't those kids usually get lessons in politeness and morality? I wonder what kind of lessons this kid is going to get.
They usually follow like the wild, super strong swordsman who's like a terrible mentor and doesn't actually teach them how to fit in society, but is like just really good at killing people. And the kid, that's the Musashi story. And Vagabond I don't know if Vagabond predates this, I don't think it did, but like the story Vagabond was based on was well entrenched. The novels were well entrenched in Japanese culture. Those are like huge bestsellers in Japan. I forget Eiji Yoshikawa. I forget the guy's name, but they were like huge bestsellers. So the story was there when for Miura to have read growing up. And it's a good story, but it's also like it's been done.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he's just trying to pad volumes or if he's actually going to do something useful. But yeah, I guess we haven't seen too much yet. But.
I don't remember what happens to him later.
Are you muted, Steve?
Yes, I was. I was taking a drink of coffee and I forgot to unmute. No, I was kind of wondering if we are, or if he's building his own Band of the Hawk, like he's kind of rebuilding his own version of it.
Not like super actively.
Right, but it just kind of by accident.
I mean, going back to what Varsha was saying, like why is he so? Maybe he's a little more accepting of having another sidekick, partially because he's now post that realization that driving everyone away isn't actually going to make him happy. So maybe he's a little more open to the idea of having another sidekick running around.
Yeah, but literally the same realization that happened in the Golden Age, just going through the same motions.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
but bad things happened immediately after to kind of put those on the back burner for a bit, those realizations, but they've come back now.
Yeah. But I mean, technically, like, if I was Guts in that point, I would not say, me becoming friendly with people is what caused this.
Yeah.
It would have been the opposite, right? So he should have learned the lesson already.
Well, I don't think he thought about it that way, right? It was more vengeance was what he wanted, to the point where it excluded all else, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was going to say, everybody was commenting about how smoothly his sword moved and how he didn't struggle while killing the demons and other things like he did back when they first saw the Black Swordsman, when the Holy Sea Knights. I was trying to remember what happened then. Had he already fought a lot and so was struggling then, or are they trying to tell us that, he's renewed now because of his realizations and he's got a nice new sword, or like nice cleaned up sword, and so he's become an even better warrior now? I thought that was interesting, all those references to he's I don't remember the exact dialogues, but something to the effect that he's a much more effective fighter now.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they saw him, he was wounded after a fight with it, so he wasn't fighting very well. And yeah, he did get a sword upgrade, I guess. Because he was getting kind of notched and old, and
yeah.
So I think it's a bit of both.
Was there a time jump between the previous fight and this fight? I'm trying to remember what happened before the 2-year time jump. No. He fought them after the 2-year time jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not it then. Never mind.
No. Holy See saw them. Yeah, I think all that happened was the R&R at the cave. So.
Yeah. So maybe it's been, I don't know, it's been some weeks, month or something. Something like that, I think.
Yeah.
But new sword, new motivation.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of fighting. Let's see, where did this volume start with?
With Casca being let's see.
With Casca wearing the clothes of women from every culture possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casca's
also, yeah. So I guess all the people that are giving her stuff are all like, I guess, Satanists? Heretics? I guess?
Yeah.
Or they're playing both sides. Like, just in
case.
Play both sides of the game theory, right? Attitude towards religion. Just play both sides just in case one is right.
Yes. And then why? I'm trying to remember it because I read it like a week ago.
Yeah, they're trying to shake down the camp, and Guts comes and I guess saves. Was it Luca or?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then there's a lot of like Nina being a coward multiple times.
Yeah.
For this, I guess that's become what I say, like a theme. Because like the third time in which like her being a coward, or a fourth time maybe, leads to a significant, a plot event or something, right? So because her joining the Satanist, and then her killing the guy, and then now her dragging Casca away.
Which is a weird myth, right? Because in her mind, she's taking Casca to save Casca. She's fleeing to be out of selfishness and cowardice, but she brings Casca because she thinks she can help, but she's not very bright.
Yeah.
Well, she thought she was a witch, right? So maybe she was trying to use her to her advantage somehow, or.
Well, she says, and she's just talking to herself, "Oh, you'll be alone if I don't bring you with me," and that's scary. So I think she was trying to be helpful, failing, and then they get kidnapped by the knights, and then luckily Guts comes and cuts through them all. There's a lot of horses in this series. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all these horses.
Many horses were harmed in the making of this manga.
And I'm just really glad that the goat guy came into his own, even if it was only briefly.
The
goat was a cool boss.
Oh yeah.
I think.
It was, yeah. I'm kind of bummed he's dead. I mean, not because he was that came out wrong. I guess I don't want to say it's anticlimactic because he had a lot of build-up. I mean, we've been seeing him with his snake for a while, and it was a battle, but I kind of thought he would be around longer. I guess I thought he'd play a bigger part in the story.
But I mean, he's not
an
apostle, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he was only magical because of the demons inhabiting him temporarily. The way they can possess anybody and make them supernatural temporarily.
Let me see. We did see...
Because he's talking about the head, the goat head, his horns are getting stuck in the cave. They're like, just take the thing off and leave it here. Implying it's just a mask. It's not an actually goat-headed guy.
Interesting.
Right, and then the demons come, and all of a sudden now he's got like supernatural abilities.
Yeah. Oh, there's something else that happens, right? I don't know what chapter 4. I don't know what page it is, and we see the eyes. Well,
Yeah.
when he's trying to get into a cave, right?
Yeah.
So what's that about?
It's the let's see.
Does anyone feel they know what the eyes are? Like the eyes like that?
Yeah,
It is,
yeah, it's literally the next page from that, right? There's something pretty suspicious going on. Yeah,
That looks like a palette. Or
yeah.
Okay,
And
is
also
it?
literally the last chapter, right? The last page, I think. You see the eyes again.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah.
What's going on with that? Something's going on.
Something is going on.
something's going on. Go to.
Yeah, I guess we don't know much about.
Mm.
I don't think we've had any. Did we have any? I don't think we've had any exposition yet, or any description of like what's going on with the eyes, right?
No.
If there was, I missed it.
Oh wait, is the last page is it the eyes of the dude with the square-shaped face?
No,
Inquisitor?
no, they're not square. Right, his eyes are square. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's different, right? Because the two are sort of back to back.
I mean, if you look at above, you can see something above the head of the
Yeah. The
guy, right?
spider thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I
probably
still think they're
related
Griffith.
somewhat.
Mm.
I still think they're Griffith. Griffith hasn't fully come into the world, and he's watching everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and we know this is connected to another sort of carnival or whatever, sort of. Festival, yeah. So something is going on. Something is going on. But I guess, yeah, we don't know yet. Next volume we'll know, I promise. A bit more, we'll definitely know a bit more.
And there's one
Nice.
scene that amused me. So when the head torturer dude, the Inquisitor, mask off or whatever, when he sees Casca for the first time, he reaches, grabs her shirt, and rips it down and says, "Look, there's a brand." And I'm like, yes, but why'd you rip her shirt off?
Yeah.
You didn't see it there before because the shirt was covering it. So is this just what you normally do when you run across new women? Like, let's check for a brand. Nope, not this one.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. How do you know without looking first?
This is just, what you do when you have a job like that. Wow.
Okay.
Sorry. Speaking of brands, they were commenting about how both Casca and Guts as brands were oozing a lot more around the Inquisitor, I thought, or was it some other, or are they indicating the presence of something else in those torture chambers?
It could be him, but they've been saying that the chambers themselves, the tower, is somehow like tainted,
Oh, I see.
right? So the
Is that-
area, maybe just because having the blood of hundreds or thousands of innocents soaked down into it, they have hinted that has an impact,
Yeah.
right? Previously,
Plus, isn't it... Wait, I'm mistaken. Wasn't it, like, predating, like, the church or something like that? It was already some sort of sacred ground or whatever, I think.
yeah, I think so. At the very beginning, the one of the cultists is sort of saying that the obelisk isn't giving us mysteries anymore, but we have our witch now. He uses very sort of indicating that it's like a sacred place, a magical place, in a bad way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've seen... Well, it does seem like it, places can permeate with energy and it can stay, right? Just we've seen with the elf cave in the positive wave and negative waves other parts, so maybe that's also related, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and what's happening now probably doesn't help Yeah.
Yeah, as all of you know, the stone pillar deified in the Tower of Conviction is no longer potent nor significant. It has no power to manifest even a single mystery. The tower has been reduced to a vile lodge of swine. Clearly, he's wrong. Still stuff going on there, but
So that's where Griffith's going to be reborn.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, also, what do you think was happening when, like, why did all the spirits manifest at that point? You know, all the demons or whatever.
When
Saving
Casca was
Casca, right?
sent in, you mean?
Yeah, into the Iron Maiden, right? Are they protecting her? Why would they? Because it seems before they were trying to attack her, right? Like in previous times.
Yes, they were. And they're not here. Because she doesn't dissolve when they go around them. Maybe the baby's controlling them. Or they're preparing her for the festival.
Yeah. I guess for all you're even before though, when the cultists, the demons didn't harm her though. They protected her because they inhabited the people when they were trying to. I don't remember what trying to do to her, but yeah.
But I think they were gonna harm her. They were just there because it was
Maybe,
nighttime, and the baby saved her. Super baby saved her. And but this time it doesn't seem to be the baby. But I'm just expecting them all to be like Griffith told them to prepare her for a snack. Because the festival's coming. Got to have a party treat. And, you know, that's going to be Casca. So that's my guess. I am not saying this because I remember this. I absolutely have no memory of Volume 20. That's just my guess. Because the festival's coming. That's the other big thing that's happening, right?
Yeah.
But they were not attacking her because they really could have.
Yeah, because they killed literally everyone else in the room, right?
Yeah.
I think. Which, well, at least, yeah, I don't know.
Oh yes, they're setting up Serpico to join as the ranger.
Yeah.
Morally gray ranger for the little team.
Yeah, I like that exchange on the cliff.
Oh, and that guy. What's his name? I forget. The one on the cliff was good.
Wait, I thought Serpico
Yeah, it's
was the
Serpico,
guy
yeah.
on the cliff.
That guy's Serpico. Then who's the nobleman?
Oh, does it start with G or something?
Jerome?
Jerome. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I was actually talking about him as the morally gray ranger. Was the noble dude.
The black-haired guy.
The black-haired guy.
Yeah.
And the blonde-haired guy is going to be, he can be the other fighter who's, nearly Guts' equal, but not quite. That's always a good character to have.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was interesting in terms of, they seem to claim that he was using, strategically preventing Guts from even drawing. But also implying that maybe he would have been able to hold his own if Guts did draw. So that, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty strong as far as a human goes.
Yeah.
Right. And we do see a bit more of there's a bit more of a relationship between him and Farnese, right?
Yeah.
More hints and a dark past.
Yeah, and more information about Farnese's family, I guess. Seems to be pretty rich and pretty influential. I guess.
And her family cares about her somehow. It seems to be implied, or are they worried about honor because she's moving around in grisly places?
And that's the open question, right? Are they trying to get her out of the situation because they're afraid that she'll be exposed to someone who enjoys it too much, or to protect her from it?
Oh yeah, she yelled at the blonde-haired dude that. Did you go tell them that I enjoyed watching them burning at the stake. So I guess they are worried about her tendencies.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if they're afraid of her failing because they don't have faith in her and they don't want her to fail and look bad. Uh-oh.
She's locked in a prisoner locked in a tower with these prisoners. Are like, get her out of there. What? Oh, you worried she'll be hurt? No, we're worried about the prisoners.
Yeah.
And of course, she gets smacked around by Guts a little bit, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's getting it. How do I say? Guts is going light on her, though. It feels.
Yeah, compared to what he usually does, right? It was. Yeah. Did his realization in the cave extend to I must not kill so freely? Because he was willing to get rid of some people who just stood in his way to where he wanted to get. This woman's really been bugging him quite a bit.
Yeah. I feel like, he was killing those random knights at the beginning of a volume, right? Which I'm not going to say are more innocent than Farnese, but, it's comparable. It's
They haven't had actual conversations with him. They didn't, trap him and and then try to torture him.
And at least they're only following orders, which is not, it's not a good excuse, but it's somewhat of an excuse, I guess. As compared to no excuse, right?
Yeah. The excuse is I enjoy this.
I feel like that's worse. I feel.
Yeah.
He probably likes her, She's she's like in this position. She's like got like this serious dark streak. She's stubborn. I wonder if he sees a little of himself in her. Like, oh, mini me.
Maybe.
She's got a serious dark streak. She's not helpless. Probably likes her a little bit. They've shared some, when someone crawls in your lap naked and tries to impale herself on your sword, you have a bond. So I hear.
Yeah. Or probably it's just that, you can kill random minions and it doesn't matter, but if it's a character, you can't just randomly kill it.
Plot armor.
Yeah. Which is something that, how do I say? It would be it's interesting when that doesn't happen in books or movies or whatever. And you're always shocked when someone's like, oh, I thought this was a character, and then he just, in a second, it's like, wait, he's dead? Or he's, just like a random guy. It's always an interesting thing that happens. But it's also, I like, how do I say? I like looking at the background people and random people getting killed or whatever in books or whatever, because it makes me think about I feel it's a very grimdark sort of thing, because it's like, I think about these people, and it's like, oh, these are all, there's all people, just treated in a very disposable way, which is very depressing, I guess. And it's like, oh, we're not supposed to care about them. The world is not supposed to care about them. I don't feel guilty about not caring about them, because the framework of the story, is it's like centered in the main characters. You're not supposed to feel for the minions, right? It just, I don't know. I just think it makes if you think about it, it makes it even more depressing.
Yeah.
I think, if you stop to think about it. But yeah, I don't think that's the intent of any of this. I just think that way.
That
Poor
makes
guys.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a twisted way of reading and watching things.
It's a
But you're like,
high
yeah.
body count. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are dying.
Yeah. But I think it's like Miura doesn't want you to really think about that, right? It's not about that. It's about, because it looks cool, and you want it to feel grimdark, and so you want to kill a bunch of people randomly, but you're not supposed to actually think about they're being killed randomly and they're not important for the story and they're like literally disposable, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we're not exploring the sort of morality of that. It's just to make things move forward.
Yeah. But if you actually think about it, just like, the Manifest Illusion we're reading right now, right? All the random people being killed by the Kleptic. You're not, it's set up in it's a, not comedic, but...
very casual.
Very casual way, right?
Yeah, yep.
I wonder, is it different in this format because you can visually see the people being cut in half and the horses' heads being chopped off, and so it has I think even if it is like casual and kind of just to move the story forward, I think it has a different weight to it than in just text, because in just text you can kind of just like glance over it, like, yeah, she killed a building full of people, but at least here you can get a visual, I guess.
True.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they're shown as, I don't know, or they're shown as like, oh, you don't show the face very much, or like the face is, like you can see where the face is a main character and the face is a random dude, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a stark distinction.
Like NPCs.
Yeah, just like when you're in a video game and you see that wall looks different, that wall can definitely be broken through.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I can climb that wall. Yeah,
You can climb that wall. Yeah. It's all those subtle hints that the author puts in consciously and unconsciously in the text. That the framework that makes you see things in one light and the other light, which I think is a very interesting thing to look at, because it's not always explicit. It's more like, and sometimes you don't even know why do I feel that way, why is it framed like I should feel that way, just from the syntax used and just from the type of words used, right? It can be very subtle, but human mind is very good at picking out subtle things unconsciously, I guess.
We're so used to like the high body counts of innocent bystanders and all these fantasy wars, where like how many elves died and how many dwarves and humans died in Lord of the Rings, the ones without names, like lots, right? But we're so used to not thinking about it. Then you get some property like The Boys, where the main character is one of those background innocent bystanders. Did you ever read The Boys? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Steve?
Yeah.
So the main character, that's the first panel, or the first scene. Huey, right? And he is not a powered guy. He's a very normal dude, very sort of average. And he's with his girlfriend, and like one of these like a Flash type characters running by, and Huey's holding his girlfriend's hands or his fiance's hands, and the guy she's just ripped apart by this speedster who's like in a fight. They're not part of it. They're not villains, and he's left literally holding her hands. And like that's what sets off the whole story, is this innocent bystander you're not supposed to notice in this superhero battle, and then he becomes the main character of the whole series. So they're trying to like turn it on its head, like this guy you never thought about, the Flash running by, in all those fights the Flash has with like giant shark dude or whatever. How many people get killed like because they're just standing there, and someone runs by at like 7,000 miles an hour, and, like they get ripped to shreds by the air, by the wind.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to think about that.
I don't know if it's hard for us to comprehend that kind of carnage and loss. Is it hard to wrap your mind around? Because like Lord of the Rings or even like the Avengers, you see buildings collapse and you don't ever think about the people inside or the people in the planes or whatever, people in the street. Because is it hard to wrap your mind around that much death?
I mean, think about 9/11, right? Like 2 buildings came down, and then, people, amazing repercussions, not just politically, but just like health of the people there. Firefighters getting like whatever lung cancer 10 years later, and that stuff happens in the Marvel universe all the time. So
yeah, I guess in a fantasy universe for like Lord of the Rings, you can justify to yourself like, oh, they died for a cause, right? They're fighting evil, which, it's more justifiable than just, oh, the hero was going through there and just, destroy a building or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think even like a fantasy setting, it doesn't seem as real because they're fighting orcs or whatever, so it doesn't have that same impact as, you know, but...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, like Joe said, it would be cool to see a book in which he's not the main character. He's just seeing, the hero is there doing its own thing. It's like this guy dealing with repercussions in the world of what the important people are doing. Now, I haven't read The Boys, so I don't know if, the normal guy ends up being a superhero or whatever later on. But I think it would be interesting if he stays not, he's the main character of his own story, I guess, but he's not really the main character of the world.
I mean, he joins a group for taking out the heroes.
I see. Okay.
Not necessarily with powers, but using a bunch of different means.
Okay.
He doesn't just remain a normal guy working in a bookstore.
But he does want to affect the world, right?
He enters that world.
Okay. Which is a bit different from sort of real life in which, we get affected by the important people or the important governments and stuff like that, but we can't, like 99% of the people are not going to actually affect the world in a significant way like that, right? So I think it would be interesting to see a book like that, someone that stays in the background and just deals with the consequences of him not being a main character in this world.
Yeah. And there's a I think it's by a book by Patrick Ness, I think, a Chaos Walking trilogy author of that. I could have the name wrong, but it's called The Rest of Us Just Live Here. And I thought it was pretty cool. I like the premise. I enjoyed the book. I didn't love it, but I thought it was an interesting premise. It's kind of exactly that. A bunch of teenagers in a world inhabited by superheroes.
Yeah. You probably need a lot of very good character work and a lot of, a really good author to make it something that people would be interested in reading, right?
Yep. It is. It was a good book. I enjoyed it when I read it.
I might have a look at it. Anyways.
And it dealt with a lot of like real life themes, and it's like there's real life happening while these superheroes are off dealing with their demons.
I was late for the SATs because a monster ate my school bus.
Yeah, I guess that's like we're now following Guts and seeing what we want to see him fulfill his objectives, but I guess I don't know what's in the store for the rest of the world. Right? Yeah. Because right now we're going through a bad time, I think I remember.
The what?
The world, yeah. I think there's a bit of famine, a bit of, death and pestilence going around. So it doesn't seem to be good for them.
And we think it might be because of Griffith's ascension?
It seems to be connected.
And we've already seen that there's more of this magical stuff seeping through since the eclipse.
Yeah. The demons are inhibiting the world. Did we get a clarification on whether Guts is able to see the demons now because he's branded and that they always used to inhibit the world, or that they started coming into the world after the eclipse because things changed then? I seem to recall it was the latter, but I'm not so sure now.
I think you could always see them, because if he can see Puck, you can see all magical things. And Farnese couldn't see either Puck or the monsters at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But I think Guts could.
That's true, yeah.
Because he doesn't have that rigid mindset. It's a rigid mindset that prevents you from seeing the Pucky things.
Yeah, but maybe we're also seeing more demons because we're just following Guts and Casca, which naturally attract them.
Well, with the brand, aren't they attracted? They're attracted to him, right? So they're hunting him basically with the brand. Yeah.
Every night.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah. I guess we don't know what's going on everywhere else. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because they could just be hidden, like as apostles, right? You don't know they're demons. They just look like normal people.
I do enjoy the character. Was it Luca, the I do enjoy her though. I think she's a good
Yeah.
character.
Yep.
She's I think she has because she's the opposite of what you would expect, I think, in this world anyway, and she seems like a giving, caring, genuine who looks out for her group, and they don't really, most of them don't seem like they appreciate her very much.
Yeah.
They like complain, like she's giving them all the tributes and everything that they're and they're still like complaining about, like, you know, it's like, geez, give her a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nina seems very, very young compared to her. I thought, yeah, I read her sometimes as a grownish woman, like just on the verge of adulthood, but other times she's drawn almost like a teenager. Yeah.
Okay. I interpret her more as late 20s. That's what I see her as, but I don't know. Just how she behaves and more mature and whatever, but still looks young. I don't know.
Yeah.
The other woman, what's her name? The curly-haired one? I forget her name.
Nina?
Nina, right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, she. Maybe it's because of her height. I think sometimes some of the panels she does look smaller, so that's why I kind of thought of her like as teenager, late teens, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But
Nina's young. Yeah, I was just saying Luca.
Oh, I was talking
yeah.
about Nina.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I got confused.
Yeah, Luca looks older and mature. I like her character too. I was sure that this book, this volume would end with Nina getting a gruesome end, but Luca came by to save her. I just hope Luca survives this. I have a feeling she won't.
I mean, Nina hasn't had just one nail they touched, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't really had a bad end yet.
No, she hasn't. I think she's going to actually survive this. It seems like she's going to outlast some of the others, probably, for all her whining about.
Her being a coward seems to lead her towards bad decisions, though.
Yeah.
She keeps getting bailed out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Keeps feeling sorry for herself. Like, just stop being so selfish, baby.
The same people who she's, she's spilling all the information to not have her fingernail removed or whatever, and the same people come and rescue her. Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, to be honest, like, if I'm gonna get tortured, at some point I'm gonna say things. You know, I'm not gonna last forever. So might as well just say it at the beginning. At that point, just save time.
Yeah,
unless it's time critical.
That part was okay, but the whole people keep coming here to give gifts to Casca. She'll give us away. It's like Luca's lessons didn't take at all, which is fair. Like that makes sense. That's a fair character to write, but it's also a frustrating character to read.
Very much.
Torture isn't very effective, I think, because you're going to say something. Even if you don't know anything, you're going to give them something so it'll stop. So
Nina's there to drive the plot and to make Luca seem even more angelic than she is, right?
Yeah.
It's like Luca's the one who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to keep saving you no matter how terrible and shitty a person you are. So they're going to be like, well, I'm going to be even more shitty. I'm still going to save you and give you a hug and pat you on the back. And it's and I think it goes back to Mira wanting to make sort of a class statement, you know, the lowest of the low and make her the most noble and virtuous person in the whole series. I think she is, or arguably, but not very arguably, right? And then the highest of the high, the highest authority here, the highest like sort of class person is truly despicable, which is the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a different type of despicable, right? If someone does something evil, then it's someone that does something weak, right? A coward. It's a different.
She
has no power.
Nina's more like relatable than. I don't think we call her evil. I feel like if she had a relatively easy life, she'd probably not do anything terrible.
Yeah. I just feel like she ends up portrayed. It feels like she ends up portrayed even worse because of how she's put next to Luca, right? if she was next to other normal people, or if we saw Luca being at some points like, oh fuck you, I'm not gonna help you, or something like that, or Luca being a bit more human, I guess, or something, then it would feel more justified. Maybe it would feel more real instead of being so opposed, right?
Yeah.
It's so different. I don't know, but it is interesting. I mean, that's probably what most people would do, I guess. Not say most people, but some of those decisions, a lot of people would do them.
Yeah.
Right? Faced with that situation. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that it's opposed to all these characters, which by virtue of being main characters, their faults are not being cowards. You can be evil, or you still have, how do I say? There's still something. I'm not saying noble, but there's still something that, like, oh, I have a plan, I have an objective, I have something I'm working for. It might be evil, but you're still upholding some sort of value, right? As opposed to like, oh, I know what my values are, but I'm too weak to uphold them.
Yeah.
Right? Because she knows what the right thing is, but she's just too weak to do it.
Yeah.
At least Griffith had principles.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. Which is weird that in our minds sometimes that seems like better, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. I wonder why that is.
I guess because it's an indication of a strong-minded versus weak-minded person, like someone who will stand by what they believe in versus giving up at the first sign of trouble. Perhaps that bothers us. I don't know.
It's a virtue, right? Having a goal, working towards a goal, being willing to work towards a goal is a virtue. That in itself is a virtue, right? So if the goal is evil, you might overall be evil, but you'll say, but he had good qualities, like he worked towards a goal.
But in theory,
Hitler was very, dedicated. We can.
But if you think about it, if someone is working dedicatedly towards a goal which is obviously evil, it should make it even worse person, in theory. Like, if you follow, like, logically, right?
Yeah, but that's that's not traditionally how we look at characteristics. So we evaluate them separately from one another. And like being willing to work towards a goal is a virtue, because in general society falls apart if no one can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all screwed if no one can do that. We all die. So we admire that, and we prefer it when it's a goal that we share, right, or that we can endorse. But we kind of admire it anyway. If someone's a hardworking, you're like, yeah, they're hard. Guy plays for the other team, but he's hardworking.
True, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Vash. No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Steve. I was going to start a new topic, so go ahead.
Oh, no, so was I. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was sure when Casca ripped Nina's hair out that she was going to effect an escape. I don't know, I thought she was going to make some sort of lockpick or something, but that didn't happen.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, well, what was the purpose of that? I felt like that was going somewhere, but it didn't.
I never liked catatonic Casca.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs to snap out of it.
I can see the need for her, but I don't know. I don't like reading that.
It's just such a departure from the Golden Age Casca.
Yeah.
Right? From being, having agency to being an object, I guess, pretty much.
Yeah. It guts needs to protect severely. When she leaped off the cliff, that's when I even remembered what she used to be like. Until then, she was just this sort of someone who needed saving and protection, which... Yeah, I suppose it's making a point, but I don't like it.
It's like her very personality was fridged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fridged. Yeah.
Right? Like the...
Was it Green Lantern or what was it?
It was one of those. It might have been Green Lantern. I think it was. I think it was.
Yeah, it's just too bad.
But she's just there, so Guts has someone to defend. And I'm like, okay, that's a very sort of old-fashioned view of masculinity. I'll accept it, but I don't have to love it.
Fair
And
enough.
the volume does. I thought it was kind of neat because I wanted to read ahead because I really want to see what happens with whether his faith will keep him safe. The Inquisitor, is it the Inquisitor or the square face guy? Yeah, I really want to see if faith is going to help him through that, or if he's going to be killed.
Or if he's got his own ballot.
Yeah.
He's got his own what? Sorry.
He's got his own ballot. Maybe he'll be an apostle in making.
Yeah.
He's just gonna slap him with the Bible, or like we've seen before, all the monsters.
He'd be an awesome apostle with a giant Bible with like spikes on it. It all transform. He's slamming things.
I mean, he's sort of halfway there, given his character design.
I
Yeah.
can imagine he'll just die. That almost seems like a waste. But I'm not speaking from memory. I have no memory of what happens to him.
His words are written with a thick font, kind of like what's used for the apostle, just like slightly less thick. I wondered about that, if that's supposed to tell us something about him being a demon, but probably not. That would be too easy, right?
I just assume he's always shouting, but maybe you're right.
Yeah, he does have a thick font.
Yeah, she's absolutely Varsha.
I never noticed that.
Correct. I did not see that.
I wonder if mine also has. It depends who the translation
Oh,
or
interesting.
scanlation is.
It's not every-
because they have to replace the whole.
It's not every panel. Like if you look at him here, that's normal. But then
Yeah. Okay, so maybe he's just shouting.
Repent thou dead.
how good.
Repent.
What does
thou
mine
dead.
say?
Is he asking the dead people
Repent,
to
all
repent?
ye sinners.
I think he's asking the dead people to repent, kind of like go away.
They're the ones going after
The
him at that
monsters.
moment.
Okay.
Or is he telling-
by
Yeah.
faith?
And he's talking to a bunch of dead things coming through the wall. Right? Those are not living people. So I'm almost surprised. I guess there's limits to what you can't see. At some point you can see him even if you have a straightforward mindset.
Maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe he doesn't actually. I don't know. Maybe he's. No, he must have, because he must have.
I think he does. I mean, some of them are maybe because they're inside the human blood. Maybe they're because they must be possessing the flesh and fluids of bodies. It's all the skin stuff behind, right? So they're just like the goo that's been possessed separately from the bones.
The goop.
And then they swallowed Casca.
Oh yeah, I guess because even before when Farnese, like she didn't see them, but when they inhabited the dogs, then she could see them because they're physical, right? Yeah.
And
You might be right.
They could all see Goat Guy. He was possessed, but he wasn't a purely ectoplasmic being, I guess.
Yeah. And I think they originated at the beginning from the blood on the spikes. So maybe you're right. Maybe
They seem very goo-like.
Yes.
And not like the pure demons that come after Guts and Casca in the night. Which are not inhabiting bodies, we don't think.
Yeah.
Alright.
I feel like I miss a lot of this detail until I come here and you guys tell me, oh, that was actually blood that we were looking at. I didn't know. I didn't make that connection at all.
I think. Yeah. Maybe they've accumulated other dirt and other stuff too.
The joys of black and white. Well, cool. You guys think of anything else?
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, Joe, you want to give us your outro, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Okay, check out my YouTube channel at JCM Burn and watch my YouTube show, Book Burning, where I promise to talk about books, but I will never ever actually burn a book.
No matter how much you want to throw it out the window.
Until I review The Fourth Wing, then I'll burn a book. I'll make an exception.
I've burnt a bunch of books to start my stove at home. Not this home, a different home. We just had just had way too many books. Just use it for starter for fire.
Interesting.
Called it the mini cultural revolution.
Take that, intellectuals.
And Dan, you wanna tell us about your miniatures?
Yeah, maybe not. No, but if I'm Dan. You can find me on Page Chewing, the Fire 17. If you have recommendations for books, fancy books about normal people living their life, it would be cool. I don't know any of them, but it would be cool.
Yes. And Varsha.
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Reading by the Rainy Mountain. The About page has other ways to reach me, and I chill a lot on the Page Chewing forum.
Been busy there, yeah. Lots of stuff, lots of clubs now. Yeah. Well, cool. So we will see everyone very soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, guys. Thanks. Bye.